Hello. Oh, we've got a few people here. I'm just laughing. I've managed to get the other side on as well. The other side. So yeah, I thought I'll try and be a bit creative and try and get everybody in and saying hello to Jenny and Dawn. Um, Hi, Linda. Yes, I'm not being pedantic, but I suppose I am. But yeah, it's you sort of on a live loop when I do that. It just means get ready, I'm coming on and all that blah 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 blah. So yeah, I am actually live. So I think there's a bit of a lull between the two, but don't worry too much. You're still going to get the gist of it, aren't you? So today I've not got much in the process of making. I've not really got that much. I've got my pens, I've got my compass, I've got my little books, which I always bring everywhere with me, and I've got a big piece of paper. And if I've got a pencil, I'm very lucky. And I should have a ruler. The ruler. Well, I do sometimes have a ruler. I have a tiny little steel ruler. But I should have in here in my bag of doom, which is tidy at the moment. Yes, it's rather tidy. I should have a huge Faber-Castell rubber, but it seems to have evaded me again. Have I put it safely somewhere? Oh. Maybe it was somewhere. I'll carry rubber with me. I don't know why. It looks a bit strange, but who cares? I never said I was normal. Anyway, so I think that territory comes with a teaching having all that rubbish in your bag. So yeah, big hello, happy Doodle Day, National Doodle Day. So I thought we'd have a Moodle Doodle on Doodle Day, yeah. And I'm just happy to have a look at some of the doodles have been around the country and stuff and around the world and different places, different days. But I just want to go straight back to basics. I don't want to mess about. I want a good old Moodle today, and regardless of what other people want to do and what they want to do with theirs, and they can do it neurographically, or they can do it just plain enjoyment. It's not going to be a long one. It's not going to be an intellectual sort of product, but what it will be is fun and entertaining, hopefully, and informative. So, what we should do is start with something that's relevant to us all. So, let's go today with put a centre line if you wish. Now, drawing a love art is incredibly annoying because there's only way I can draw a love art, and that is to physically draw one side the way I want it, trace it, flip it. That's all I can do, because otherwise I'll never end up with a symmetrical one, but I'm not particularly bothered. So we're going to get a shape down. You can draw any shape with this. You don't have to be right, I'm going to have to close one down because I need to keep refreshing it. So I do apologise to the people who are. I'm just lagging behind with one and the other's playing fine. And then this is like. Right, that. Oh, I can only play. Oh, boom! Boom, dum, dum, boom. So, anyway, I've got that there. Heart shape. I'm going to finalise the one I want with a pen. So why am I doing that? Well, I'm doing that because I need to know the boundaries. So I'm just going to go. I've got size 1. Doesn't look like a 1, I must admit, but that's because it's now been used that much. it no longer has a straight nib. Now, it has taught me a lesson that these pens don't last forever. So I'm just going to rub out the other lines and see how we're doing. Right, National Doodle Day. Different places have different things, and it's all to do with, you know, supporting a charity. And a lot of people have been selling theirs doodles for charity, which is cool to see. Depends on whether people want to buy your doodles, that is. So I just wanted to join in because I do it anyway, and it's just such a brilliant art form and a brilliant way of getting people together and enjoying sort of downtime. So I'm going to say hello to B, hello to Linda Dawn, Sylvia, Facebook user, hello, Dawn, Tracy, Jenna, Facebook user 1, 2, and 3. Put that out of the way. So it's not the best. So you have to retire your pens. They don't last forever. You have to retire them. So good point. So you need to think about when you're buying these pens, which pens are you most using? Now, when I'm using them, I tend to go with the smaller ones and then the bigger ones. So, but I've also got a 10 here, which is a whopper duper. It's a really big one. So let me just show you one of my drawings here. Oh, I went this one to draw right with. Look at that. I've knackered it. Got it. That was my only one. See, people who don't know pens can really annoy you. So anyway, I'm jumping on now. Here's a 0.7, which is the V-ball. I've got other pens like that as well, which I tend to use, and I tend to use the finer ones. And it's almost like you can't rub them out, but you feel like you've got more chance at it. And the uni pens as well. I love these. So we've got our heart shape, right? Okay. So we do need a pencil at this point because what we're going to do is put, don't look straight that. We're going to put some elements on it, but we need to divide it first. So I'm going to do some strings. Now, to do that in Zentangle, well, I'm going to make these into tubes. Yes, tubes, I said. So start off your heart, and we're almost allowing some dodgy tubes to happen. So I'll do them a bit darker. Okay, so they're at the front. Nothing can go over them. Okay, so if we was to do another there, maybe like that. Now nothing can go over them. Everything has to go under. So keeping them about 5 mil apart. That's well dodgy there, but these are only like, you know, interim lines. So if you think of them the size of a straw, that works even better. Sorry for the coughing. Right, so we need sections. I want it to look like fabric. So there is a reason for me looking like a bit weird on it. It's looking like fabric. So what I'm going to do, just going straight over everything. I'm not too worried about that because I'll get rid of it now. But if you're not sure about that, oh, wrong one. If you're not sure about that, then do what I've just done to show you. But if you have done these in pencil, then you can change your mind at the end. So you can put them under and over and over and under if you want. So, okay, so we need one here. There we go. So I can choose if I want it to go over and under, or I can choose. So that has to go. So it's these that go. See, you can start to make it look under, over, over. Right, I'm looking at this and thinking quite like that, but I'd like it to sort of be a bit more woven. So I'll come to it and go over and under and over and under as I go. So it's going under, over. So what I'm going to do now is get my 0.1 pen that is working. And I'm going to start and I'm going to put my feet on the ground because they're not. And I'm going to lightly take my time. So it's going under, over. Right, so then I'm going over that one, under that one, and this one, over. Now, because I've not done it in pen to begin with, I can change under, over, right? So I can make it as flexible as I want. So here, I'm just going to go, now that's over, so I've got to go under, or you can do them all under if you want. Now, that's a little trick I've learnt myself to do. I'm probably not the first to do it, but stop at the lines. What I tend to do is just where I've gone there, when I don't want to cross over, I put the lines over like that. Get it? Stop me doing it. And here, now, just a little trick. If you're unsure about under, over, or continuing lines, if you put a straight edge across it and you know that that's there and that's there, you know you're going to continue without going through it. So that's another little trick to keep them sort of consistently the same or straight. So we're going over, right? So this has gone over, so we need to go under. So what I need to do here, honestly, you don't have to do it like this. You really don't. You could do it which area you want. I just thought a nice little weave, which really does sort of change up, makes it look like threads in your hat, doesn't it? So here we've gone over, so we've gone under that one. So I'm going to go over this, give it a little bit of a curl as well, like that. So the next one is just there, and I'm just going to go over and under till I can get sort of nearly finished. Now, a doodle can tell a lot about your personality. It's always personal. It's always private, the meaningfulness, but it's in the open. But the thing that is different is the fact that everybody can get the same sort of instructions or shapes and do it. Now, how you use those shapes is entirely not only personal, but preference as well. So you get people using triangles who are, of one persuasion, and I mean that in like logically or visually or artistically, academically, whatever you want to call it. They were easier with the certain things. So let's get some of these lines rubbed out. So anybody joining us will get a bit more of a grasp of what we're doing. So there we go. And now what I can do, and I will do, is build up this, because this is a bit too light at the moment. It's a bit too sort of flimsy for me and a bit too odd shape. So now I've gone back over like that. I'm not a lover of that, but I can put a pattern on that, no problem. And then if you get rid of these pencil lines, you can see where you need to join your work. So we've got over, so we've got to go, we've gone under, so we're going to go over and under. Okay, so I like to do this freehand sometimes. It's almost like a challenge. But yeah, doodles are very telling. I was talking to some my friends at the, I go to the monastery, and 4 of us are teachers, different ages, different subjects, different facilities, sort of thing, where, and in different capacities, we range from head teachers to teachers, to further ed teachers, primary, and it was really interesting how much impact, as we were talking, the doodle has. And there was a lovely Leslie was talking about how she facilitated this course after she'd been on it, and I think I went on the similar course actually, and it was about how you utilise Doodle in a positive way, and it has its merits. So what does that mean? Well, I'm not going to go into detail because there's a whole course behind it. But basically, you make people learn, or you help people to learn in a way that they love, so that you use things that they love to make sense of it. So chemistry, like for me, made sense in the paints, and I wanted to know about it then, why paints reacted like this, that, the other. Whereas if I'm just doing chemistry, I might as well have been blowing in the wind. But so having a doodle pad is so beneficial to some children. And the way Leslie was saying that hers was, and mine, was that as long as it was relevant to the subject, the doodle, it didn't distract them, it focused them, because they were focusing, as long as they doodled, on what the subject was. And it's a really brilliant strategy. And yeah, she said, and I'm at her age range as well, and it worked at my age range as well, because they put a doodle or a drawing or whatever you want to call it in the sketchbook, and it was just amazing because they just wanted to do it, and it was, you had it down right. So I'm just looking at all. I haven't got all. Oh, Linda, sorry to hear that. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't like it when my gang's not well. It's not good. I get quite muddly. Right, so the first thing I'm just going to do, as best as I can, I'm using a 0.7 ink pen to do this, because it's got going out of my line, but I'm really not worried, because I'm going to make small detours, I like to call them, off my lines. This you could make this into steampunk, you could make this into anything. I mean, I have been doing. I was going to sort of show you the sort of way we did op art and pop art at school, but I think I don't give it enough justice because I think I need more time with each one. So it's a lot to do in that time, in an hour, and it gets to me that I can't do enough. So I tend to sort of rush it, and I don't think some of it you can't rush anyway. But I am going to do some stuff in wake of what I've just said, learning it. So let's get to it. If you want to know, excuse me, if you want to know a little bit more about how we do the Moodles in the past, come and have a look on your journals, because that allows you to get onto the site Facebook, but also if you come to my website, you'll see everything there. So I put some dots in that. What I'm going to do is register the dots in other places, but change them up like that. So the dots, the similar dots, just not the same. So I'm going to do it in 3 places. There we go. So, and it might change. It might change. Now, I love that shape. So one of my favourite shapes is a circle, as you know. So I'm going to go in. And this is like I did at the beginning. I'm going to draw in some circles, but not make a pattern as such. It's really hard not to make a pattern. So it's like crowded. I really like that. But I think it needs to be elsewhere and smaller. So I might do it here. This one is a little bit more doing the same but slightly different as always. So here we'll do another one, just a small one, where it just fills the space. Okay. I'm going to do a real simple flower. Dot, 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 dot. Okay? And then we're going to go heart, 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 heart. So it's a love heart. And like me, don't worry about not being neat. If you do worry about being neat, then that's fine as well, though. I don't want you to think that just because I keep saying that. Here I've done them smaller and sized them so I fit 5 in. So you get it's only simple, but it looks really cool. I wanted to get back to basics because it's Doodle Day. So what are the benefits for me? The benefits for me on a really positive sense is that I get to spend time with myself. I get to spend time to be creative. I get to spend time really focusing on what I want to do. But I found more and more it's giving me time to just escape. because I don't want to not be creative. I want to be creative, but I don't want it to be work. You might say, well, you've got the ideal job. No, you have to treat it like a job in the sense that, jobs have deadlines, targets, and you need to stick to them. It's not all hunky dory. So anyway, I've done some patterns there. I've done some patterns there. So the really simple patterns, I will do some shading in a minute just to give it a bit of depth. So I've got flowers. I really like flowers. I just think flowers are just lovely because you can make them up, you can change them up, you can invent your own, any colour you want, any shape you want, anything you want to do. So these ones, I might do it in these actually, are a heart again, misshaped with a little stamen style doodah. No, put another ring in there and just put some. Yeah, I like that one better. So in this one, ring and then more lines. And then that looks better. Right. Now I have done the adjusting on the camera, but the problem is it changes over when I go into StreamYard. So if I'm not, and if I'm going in and out, then I'll have to find out something how to do it. But at the moment, I haven't got a blooming clue. Right, so yeah, it's a real positive part of my life. And if you ever get, oh, can't be bothered doing it, then you shouldn't do it because that's not what you're doing it for. However, there are times when people need a kick up the bum because they think, oh, I can't be bothered. And then as soon as they get into it, they're like, oh, why did I even think I didn't want to do it? But life gets in the way. You just have to make sure it doesn't permanently. Because if it does, you'll really resent it. And you will. And we know that, don't we? Because we've done it, all of us. So I'm looking at that now, quite like that. This would be brilliant in colour. This would be brilliant putting your own little sway on it, your own ideas, and not just, sticking to what I've done because it's blooming boring, isn't it? But I'm just looking for one of my other patterns in my other book. Oh, I know which one I ain't done for a long time. So let's go for some straight lines. And I'm doing them at 11 o'clock. You can do them bigger if you want. And then I'm just going to put by eye, a little line. Now, sometimes people like to work from corner to middle and middle out. Well, I find it, I sometimes when I do that, I'll lose where I'm going. So I go corner to middle like that. That really helps me. Then I'm going to do what was it? Okay. So we'll do a rounder one now. So this time, the reason I leave a lot of space is so that if I want to go back in and do the middle ones, but you all know me, I'll sort of, by eye. Okay, so we've got two triangular ones. We could do with another one. So maybe this one here. So I'm following the line of the straw thing. So this one is, which one was it I was going to do? I forgot which one. Right, so I'm going to go. Get that, I'm going to go zigzag. Okay, like that, and then I'm going to go that zigzag. That was the one. And then, but there's a way of doing it. It's a bit easier, but it's a bit too. This is very freeform, right? The other way is you just go like that, but it doesn't look like a diamond. So, because you see that line goes all the way down, that one there. So there is a way of doing it like that. So that is supposed to look rough, believe you me. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3. Let's go for simple. Here we've got one there, but we'll need another one. So little dot, 3 little dots. We'll just put a star on them. So it's 12, 6, quite long ones, 3 and 9, and then in between with a shorter one. There we go. That's all we need to do. Okay. So we need to do this in another one. And it breaks up really strong patterns because it can be, patterns are beautiful, don't get me wrong, but you can overload, which I do. So here I'm going short, 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 and then longer ones. So change them up. I'll just put a few there. Okay, really like that. Maybe another one. Now there's nothing to stop you adding another one. Your own way. Or adding another little section. We're just getting on with this, aren't we? We are. So let's. Right, okay, we've got circles and circles here. I am thinking we need something more sort of structured. So okay, so we've got that, which are smaller versions of this. That's it. Don't forget tonight, Stamperia Gang, Terry Lights is on with her hosting Rachel Harris show. Woohoo, woohoo. Did you enjoy that the other day? I'd like to know if people would like to write me a comment why you enjoyed it. I know we did, but that's not the point, is it? It's whether you did. And I want to know why you enjoyed it, because there's lots of people doing podcasts, but you know, you put down the names of people who you'd like me to sort of speak to, which is brilliant. But can I just say, they need to sort of, well, hopefully, be accessible sort of thing. But neither here nor there. But I'd just like to know why you feel that was successful. I really do, really need to know that, because we can do it more if you'd like. So here I've put 2 little straw lines down, 4 straw lines down, and I've done alternating dots so that I can do this. And that's like under, over, like that. So that gives it a bit of a bit more movement actually, because it's a bit more elastic here. So there we go. Quite like that. It's quite freehand, isn't it? Free and easy. So I'm just going to do that there as well. Do it a bit smaller this time. Yeah, I was really interested how the interaction went. I know you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly because like being in a room. But the nice thing is you don't have to stop what you're doing because it's rude not to look at them. That's why it's so strange, in the studio. They tell you not to look. It's so unnerving because all our lives we're taught it's really rude not to look at someone. I mean, I always look away, and it doesn't. There's like things that you do that they say, oh, that means you're fibbing or whatever. It's not. It's called clusters of sort of little actions make deception. It's not one thing that says, oh, it's a lie. And I found that because I don't have to look in the eye, I can really sort of not worry about offending people. I can really feel at home. Yeah, at first when I was in the studio, not looking at the presenter when they were talking to me, it was like, oh, my mum, we're here now. Okay. So yeah, I'm really gone at 8 on that. Reminds me of the faces we used to do when we were kids and dogs. Show you what I mean? Like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, so we've got 1, 2, 3 of those. Maybe something now that's a little bit more sort of angular. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Right, so it's a bit like a weave. Yeah, okay. So I've got like that here. So okay, so I've done it again. There we've got 1, 2, 3. Maybe a smaller. I might split one of these up here because we need something a bit more patterny now, don't we? One of my favourite patterns. So with this, you go down and round. So you go round like Z, a rounded Z, round like that. Now this isn't mine. This is lots of doodles and people do these, so I can't claim anything, and I wouldn't want to. So I've got more of a, an interesting pattern. You don't have to have it that big. If you just want it as a section. It's a bit, if anyone knows about handwriting and handwriting and stuff like that, it's the same. You pick your pen up between each stroke Because your temptation is to just go round them all. It don't work quite as well. So done 3 in a line. Just I forgot where I've done it. Oh, there. Idiot. There we go. So here, I'm going to leave it as a decorative pattern. Like that. So we're not doing it all. But I could do it here. Oh, you don't have to. You might not want to do it. Right, then do it this way. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Get in. There's no way I knew that. Brilliant. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that's a really good point. Reading back comments, sorry, I'm reading some comments there that say that they love the fact that that we were informing each other, or not so much informing, but we were going, helping each other with our own experiences or our own sort of way of looking things. And that's really important because it's not one size fits all for this. It's about how people fit in their products and their styles and with their ways. So it's really interesting. And I've often said, "Oh, I didn't know that." Say it on telly. I say it every time. Say it all the way. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. And that's, they asked me to do a Bob Ross show, and I'm really glad I didn't, because the guy who did it is amazing. Paul is amazing, just amazing. And I said I didn't really want to do a Bob Ross show because that needed a whole launch on its own. And I'm so glad I did. But it was so good how you can just train yourself to do certain things and then listen to others about how they got through it, or if they did, and how they sort of worked with it and what they did to rectify any issues they had, blah blah blah. If they didn't have any, you don't have to have them, do you? And and then how they achieved what they did. And we can all achieve things, but we might just get there a different route. It was really interesting, that. And then Janice did that wonderful piece of artwork. So yeah, we're looking at hopefully having some time spent with others doing chats. I know it's been done, and I'm not trying to say we're doing it. Nobody else has done it. Of course they have. I also remember when I started up the lives during lockdown, and other people started doing it, and it got a bit difficult because I know people care about you, but they were trying to say, "Oh, people are copying," but it wasn't about people copying. It was about the more the better. But then it really did get about that. So I had to sort of stop what I was doing. But it's not about that. You have to stop doing it when it's getting about that, because you're getting away from the point. And no one's better than anyone else. You just do it differently. I hate the word learning difficulties. I've never said it since I left school. Working. Never said learning difficulties now. I've always said learning differences, because that's what it is. Put a little dot in there. Yes, it did. Well, that's what I wanted it to feel like, Tracy. Yeah, and the banter. Yeah, that's what I wanted it to feel like. I wanted it to feel like you were there with us. And that's paramount, isn't it, really? So here I'm going to have to do a makeup one, simply because I can't put two together. So I've made that one up. Oh, it's too much like that now. No, it's not. I love it how you can just switch it over. Change it up. Yeah, it was. That's nice, that. Why didn't I do it like that? So, which was the last one I did? I can't remember which one the last one. Up here. But you start looking and then this just goes crazy. Oh, I'm not doing anymore. It's like a thingy when you see all different patterns. And then so I was going back to what I was saying. I've got my fibro head on, so I can't remember stuff. I apologise. I was going back and I was thinking perhaps some of you would like to come on at some point and chat. You know, I can have up to 10 people, but I think that it'd be more like a melee, that, won't it? A fight. So, yeah, I was thinking if people would like to come on and ask questions while I'm working, or perhaps while both of us, or whoever I'm with is on, yeah, I could start that. You know, you heard it first here. But yeah, I'd like to do that. Or perhaps ask the questions that you want to ask. So if people are doing a lovely, wonderful live demonstration, they can't watch the screen and create, because it does break up your concentration. I could ask the questions. Like Rachel was asking questions. I just thought it worked brilliantly. So here, I'm going to start with the real doodles now. So we've got 50 minutes in, we've got the whole thing doodled, moodled. But now we need to know about some shading, okay? I'm not going to go in with a pencil just yet because it's too much. So I'm going to go in with the biggest pen we've got, which is an 8. Now, I'm not going to do a lot. You might not want to do them all, but I am just going to go with some dots, and I'm using a bigger pen. And I'm just doing some dots. Now, you can see on that screen, which I can see now, that you are actually, I'll make this bigger, I can't see a sodding thing. You're actually just getting to see the depth it's bringing. Like that, okay? So it's like underneath the little veins. like that, which I think it does give it really empowers it and makes it 3D. So you can choose like the ones you want to do. I'll do these, and then we'll get on with the pipes. But if you just want to put, don't be tempted to just really look. And a lesson on it is called pointillism. So let me draw it again. I've got a box, and I want that corner to look 3D or shaded. So if I want it to look 3D, put a round edge on it like that, starts to. But if I wanted it to look shaded, you build up the line, the dots, sorry, not the lines, the dots. So the denser, nearer the object and where it's crossing over to create a shadow. And then as it comes out, it disappears into nothingness. So you get a shade, yeah? So I've done that one, So that's for the people who don't want to put pencil shading on. I personally don't always want to put pencil shading on, and it gets to me. So I think, no, well, I'm not going to bother with it. So I tend to sort of do the dots a lot more. Now here I wanted to create some three-dimensional work. So I want to take one of these and make it 3D. And the round letter C's. You want a round shape, a round line, square shape, straight lines. And it's almost like you're drawing half a circle. And I'll show you close up. The course that Rachel and I have presented and developed is about, we say 101 mixed media, but it's so much more. I mean, she's doing a wonderful project. I'm just in the middle of like trying to write all the stuff down on Etsy that we're going to do. But her project is so condensed, and it's all condensed into a book, a journal that you make, and you put all your stuff in it. Now you can write down your stuff if you want, or you can just have it in the background. But it really is a beautiful way of doing it. And I'm going to have prompt cards that do the same. So you can pull out the prompt cards if you get a bit dull one day or whatever, and they're there. You know, mojo. Right, to show you the relevance of round and straight lines, okay? So, hello, David. David, sorry. Right, so here's straight lines. Bit more curved. Right, curved. Can you see the difference? Let's go back to straight. Curved. So, get me? Now, so if I wanted to do this and make this shaded, it'd be denser near the line or the end of the curve. Lighter coming up. Get it? Starting to look at you do need a bit more time, so it'd be quite dense down here, lighter up here. Now if we do the square one with the straight lines, you're creating depth, but it's flat. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's a little bit of an idea of how you do it. Now, all these can be done on the mixed media packs that I do, ATCs and stuff. So this isn't something that you just do alone in your book. You can add these to all your mixed media projects. So all these little things like the drawing in the background is so important because it makes it, not only you're just using gluing down and sticking stuff down, you're actually drawing into it. Makes a huge difference. It so personalizes it. because each stroke of that pen is personal. It means something, but not just means something. You're putting that little bit more of yourself and your own personality into it. And it could be hidden if you didn't want people to see it. And that's even better. Hide it. It's not for anyone else to see then. So you can see I've put some depth here. Now I'm going to just think about these curves, which are quite light. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it on this one, I think. Oh no, I'll have to do it on one that goes across. So you put yourself, let me think. Oh no, I don't need to. It's going to be like that, but we used to call it a zipper at school. So it looks like either a chain or a zip. Because they don't actually fit. Zips don't, they go like that, don't they? So the way we used to do them at school at first, we used to do, you go, oh, I'm getting it wrong now. Can you see how that part, but it needs that space in the middle because there's a bit there. So that bit has to become that bit up there. So let's look, done the zipper one. Let's just do, now you draw these first. And then you go, put a C in them. Under, over, so if for instance I'm doing a journal page and I want to create something on my I can't show you here, on my picture itself, I don't think I've got anything in here to show you what it's done like. No, just check this. Journal like, see. No, it's not in there either. You're just sort of threading it through. So we've got a lace there, quite like that lace. Right, we'll have another lace coming here then. We'll have it nearer. This is one that you can do in pencil. And then when you know what's going under, over, you can just join those lines and then rub out the ones you don't need. Makes life easier than trying to do it with a pen straight off, because that's not easy to do. Okay, so we're going over, under, over. And the thicker you make these C's, the more it looks like stitching. But if I'm doing the edge of, say, an ATC, and I want to make it look like it's stitched, I would use this faux stitching and braiding because it looks so cool. And it really tidies up a lot of bad edges. There we go. Can you see? So we got that, we got that, we got that. This one is quite a busy one, so I'm just going to do like a machine stitch. So it's got pattern in it, but it's not predominant or dominant. And here we've got a running stitch. Now there's lots of other stitches, like back stitch wouldn't look that good unless you did it in different colours, but like a blanket stitch would. A chain stitch looks brilliant, but do chain stitch in pencil, because if you do it in pen, where it goes under and over, it makes it a little bit difficult to do. So if you do, I wonder if I can do it in pen to show you. So it's sort of like that. So let me get it right. So that comes over, so you don't see that. Get me? So you have to keep rubbing them out. So just to do it in pen, I'd have to do. Oh yeah, you can do it like that. It's like a worm. Maybe I won't do that then. So big dots. Okay, and then like that. And then I'm just going to do a blanket stitch. And a blanket stitch is just like a square U. But this looks great on the edges of your pages as well. So different sizes as well. You have to be doing blanket stitch a long time to get it right. So if I show you on the edge of my page here, I want to do it this bit here. I just want to do that on the edges of my work. Or this. See how it finishes it? So anything you do, you can finish with that. I am so happy with that. I'm so happy. Before we go, I'm going to put a bit of shading on it. You can use your pens. As I said, I prefer to do that. Let's put a little bit of pencil in just to see how that works. So just to give you an idea, I'm not going to go, I could use a water brush as well, but I'm not going to go mad. I'm using a 6 feet. So I'm just going to pass it near. So I'm concentrating on these little pipe things. If I had my tortillon, I'd probably use that, but I don't think I've got one in the jar. Right, okay, so we've got that one. So now the shadow on this is different, and I'll show you why. It goes over, so it will create a different shadow. But bear with me. So I'll get these done first. Okay, so that one's going like that, that one's going like that. Anything that crosses someone or something else will create a shadow. Being really rough and ready here, but I just want to get some essence done. Now what we're going to do is reverse drawing as well, negative drawing, which is we're going to use the rubber in a minute, because at the moment it looks really dodgy. So here the line stops there and there. I'm using a pure graphite pencil with no casing. I'm really getting to like these. Never used to when I was younger. Because I always used to smash them. But I think nowadays the way they're made are totally different. Right, so. Oh, this looks so awful. Oh, it looks awful. But it won't in a minute. Okay. You can do section by section, which is another good idea. So that if you want to just do that section, you can. Don't forget you've got your pointillism, if you wish. Right, so what we're going to use is our rubber as a pencil or a drawing implement, but we're going to put the highlights in. So it'd be like if you had a white pen, this would be like what we're going to do with the rubber is the white pen business. So again, look for where anything crosses anything else and it creates a shadow to make it 3D because it's like doing that. Do you see the shadow? See it? So I'll show you the pencil. See the shadow? Still creates it. So and with it being a soft pencil, I'm not having to put a lot of pressure on, so I'm not marking the paper. If you did want to mark the paper and you're just going to put watercolours on top of this, it would retain the marks that you've made with, say, a H pencil. It's got a harder graphite, so it creates lines and divots in the paper, whereas this slides over the paper surface. A harder pencil would dig in. And then when you rub it out, you can't get rid of those lines because you've almost damaged the fibre. Well, you have damaged the fibres, but not in a bad way. But you will never lose those lines. You can't even hot press them out. Iron them. Can't iron them out either because they're set there. The force of you pushing down the fibres means that they've gone compact to the others around them. Bit like if people know fabrics and or Devori silk or where it's cut away and you can see like light and dark, denser stuff. So I'm just going through now, going where I should have done before. Got back to basics here with our doodle for today. Tell you what though, once you start this, you think, I can't draw. Well, we're not born drawing, we're not born running. These are all skills, they're taught skills. There are people who are very good at it straight away and they whatever, but these are taught skills, so it's practice. And people say, I can't draw a circle. Well, I'll be honest with you, there's not many people in this world that can draw a circle straight off. So I think you're already, if you get me drift, putting an impossible claim on yourself by saying you can't draw a circle. Well, no, you can't, because nobody can. Well, I think there might be the odd draftsman who can do it because they've been doing it for many, many years. Repetition and memory, muscle memory always help. But yeah, so you're already claiming or putting yourself a huge challenge, an impossible task that no matter what you want to do, you won't achieve it because it's nearly nigh on impossible. So what I'm going to do, you can do, is get your rubber and sharpen it and you can get a point into it. So I'm just going to clean up and I'm doing it the same way in the middle. So I'm leaving the outside and just doing the inside. Now, when you get to these, you have to leave a little bit darker, but we can do that later. What we're doing is just getting the threads cleaned up, so to speak. I'm cutting corners here, but it doesn't matter because I know what I'm going to do in the end. If you're not sure about cutting corners yet, then just do little stitch by stitch sort of thing, tube by tube, area by area. It just helps you to sort of focus. Clean that up. Clean that up. Right, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to place a little bit of depth wherever it crosses. So blend it out. I found I've not done that bit. So blend it out. So we're getting back to that shadow on top of shadow, okay? It's wherever it crosses over, it will create a dark shadow because it's lying on top of it. And you need to pull your pencil off to get less pressure. But you do need to blend it out a little bit because I'll show you in a minute when I've done it. Because I need to do some more work here because it's all dark now. I don't want it all dark. Wind's getting up. I might have to put the wedge in the door in a minute. Sorry, guys. Right, let's see where else haven't I got it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, lift the colour out of the middle. So I'm just going to go so it's light in the middle. Do you get me? You could spend ages doing this if you wanted to. You don't have to. It's entirely up to you. Spend as little or as much as you want. Now what I'm doing here is just bringing the depth more closer to where the things are, the tubes or strings or whatever you want to call them. I'm not a certified Doodle or Dentangler or anything. I'm just a mindful Moodler. And it came about through like the play of words. So moodling is to aimlessly do something. So I put the word mindful. So you're mindfully doing nothing, which I quite love. I love it because you do get something out of it in the end, but it's a practice and it's a development in relaxation as well. Not saying I'm a therapist either. Right, so pull out the lights and darks. Hopefully it'll start to look 3D. But it does as you do it and you get more and more proficient and you get these lines darker and darker. I'll just do one little bit for you. And hopefully this will really jump out. I'm doing it quite heavy, but that's because you need to see it on the camera. You build this up at your own rate, in your own way. But it does eventually really build up. And don't forget, we've got all these places that you can put more pattern in. Hopefully this is making more sense of it now. Right, okay, so let's get some of this rubbed in again. Go back in. So, I mean, I'm getting on a bit now, aren't I? Well, in more ways than one. But we've got some three-dimensional work. We've got all our Moodles in it, Doodles. You would definitely go back in, because to my eye, that's definitely not done enough. But you do, it's very time-consuming, and it's very, very rewarding, but it is addictive. And once you realise that these skills that you've learned are learned, then what you can do is go away and then use it on every single thing you do. Everything. Adding pen and paper and pencil and white work to your work really brings out your own personal touch. So I would go back in here and I would bring and use my rubber to blend and take away and to smooth it over, because it's quite grainy, this paper. By using my rubber, I'm actually rubbing it in. Can you see? I'm rubbing it into the paper rather than just rubbing it away. I'm not digging in and rubbing the graphite away and pushing it out. So this is the art teacher coming out, obviously. But you do need to know these things and why they work like that, because there's that much on there. If I do that, can you see? So if I want to pick up white now, I need to clean my rubber. See how that's brought out that line? See how it's all come together? So and the more you do that, and before I forget, if you so wish, this is great, you know, when you're doing sentiments and stuff. Just a little bit around your work. Yeah, can you see that? So if I was to do it on a sentiment, I'll draw the sentiment out in pen. Okay, there's my sentiment. So let's see how I'll do it in sentiment. Right, so you're starting to see. But it's still messy, so what you do, pick it up, Take the edges off. Blend it out again. Take it off again. See, starting to make it look 3D, and you keep doing that. I'm not going to go into detail because that's a lesson, but yeah, you can see. I don't like that. It's doing me. I didn't know that. Okay, clean up the rubber, clean up the line. This really makes it jump out. So blend it all in, right? Clean your rubber off. That's why I say cut your rubber with a knife to create really nice sharp edges to do. There you go. So you can see now it's not 3D, but this looks brilliant on stamps. There we go. 3D. Okay, so you can see the bit of concentrated on more, but believe you me, it is highly addictive. And yes, I had a beautiful message yesterday that some of a classified, a registered therapist was actually being prescribed this to do, which is wow. I'd love for it to be on prescription. I think it'd help so many people. Right, I hope you've enjoyed that. I've gone on and on. So yeah, hi to everybody. I think if people sort of start off and not too sure, it's really important that you carry on. Okay, if you want to join me on Facebook, at the bottom you'll see that's the Jammers group where we do these wonderful lives for people, different nationalities, different heritages, where they bring all that culture with them to their work. If you'd like to subscribe to YouTube, I have got YouTube 01. Yes, get in, and that's all. But if you a little bit concerned about where to go, if you just go to my website, you can actually find all this information where I'm actually, if you would consider to become a patron, and a patron is where you donate a minimum about, say, £5 a month, which is £1.25 a week, for me to continue to do this, because as you can imagine, it takes time to do it and prepare and then load, well, whatever. So as long as I can keep doing this, I want to keep it free. But if you could afford £1.25 a week for 3 or 4 hours lessons, then I think, I would think that was value for money. So you can also join the community we've got. And I really do want to say thank you so much for being with me, taking your time to watch this, whether you like it or not. At least you've took part. That's all that matters. And I will see you on Monday, I think. I have got lots of days planned, but I can't remember. Oh, Monday night with our Rachel. Monday night, we're doing one together. Monday night, about 8 o'clock, 7 or 8. I'll sort it out and send it to you. So I will see you soon. Take care. Thanks again. LouWithers.com is my website.